Hello everybody, welcome to EduTap and I hope you all guys are doing absolutely good. So you would have heard about many toppers saying you that FM paper of 2024, Finance and Management paper of 2024 was quite unique. There were some new categories of question or new type of questions which was seen. You would have also seen the scores of Finance and Management paper of the year 2024 are comparatively low if you compare them with 2021, 2022 and 2023. So what has changed in this scoring paper of Finance and Management, that we will learn today. And if you are preparing for 2025, 2026, 2027, then this particular video is for all of you. Try to understand the new type of questions which was seen in RBI Grade B 2024 FM paper. Okay, so be there with me till the end and I will open your perspective and we will also solve the new variety of questions which was seen in the FM paper of 2024. Okay, but before I move forward, I have one very good announcement for all of you. Those who are preparing for RBI Grade A/B, you will be curious to know that what will be the eligibility pattern, vacancies, what are some previous year questions, what should be the strategy and orientation for certain components like quant, reasoning, ESI, FM, descriptive English. So for all of you, we have one specific course which we call it as free course for RBI Grade B/A students. So if I go, or even if you go in the description box below, you will find the link of this particular, I would say, component which we call it as what, RBI Grade A and Grade B free starter pack. Once you go on the description, you will get a link. Click on that particular link and the free starter pack for RBI Grade A and Grade B will open. Now why we are saying Grade A over here? Right now there is a hype in the market that Grade A can come, but at this particular moment we are telling you that if you prepare for Grade B, then definitely simultaneously you are also preparing for Grade A also. Okay, so do check out this free starter pack in which you will get the synopsis, you will get a taste of what EduTap is providing to you. You will also get that how concept classes in EduTap looks like, how concept notes in EduTap look like, my favorite summary sheet, how they look like, and how you give mock tests in EduTap. Okay, so try to check out this particular link. It will immensely help you and it will then allow you to make a good decision that whether you have to join EduTap or not. For example, in Finance and Management, we are giving you certain chapters key concept classes, certain chapters concept notes, summary sheet, mock test and mind map. This will just help you to understand that what EduTap is providing, and in this free starter pack we will also allow you to understand the nature of these exam, like what are the past year of notification trends, what are the possible cutoffs and so on and so forth. So it's a must have for all of you. Do check it out. Now my friends, allow me to switch towards the RBI Grade B FM paper in which we have to discuss multiple points, right? So here is the paper which I have opened in front of my screen. What I will do is I will put it on the full mode and now I think we all are able to see it in the best manner, but allow me to zoom it a bit. Okay, so now let's start solving. First we will solve 2 marker questions, then 1 marker questions, and then we will move ahead to descriptive questions as well. So I will put my pen on and I will start solving with you. Now make sure that in 2024 there were no easy and direct questions which we have seen in the 2 markers. Okay, so first question which you see on your screen is a typical RC based question. RC basically means what? Reading comprehension. Now I totally understand that if you see this particular question right now, it's an easy question for you. It's an easy question, but if you see the same question in the examination hall, it will become tough. Why? Because in the examination hall you have that pressure of the clock running on your head and you have to solve questions very quickly, right? But still, if you maintain your calm, this question is doable. Try to read it with me. Now this question tells you regarding organizational culture. Culture profoundly shapes the individual behavior, influencing attitude, perceptions, interaction with the society. Over the time, theories have emerged to understand how culture norms impact personal development and social behavior. Likewise, you have to read this entire, I would say, what paragraph. Now I can read it for you, but I will allow you what? I will tell you to pause this particular video, read this particular part of the component or of the question, and then we will move ahead. So you can pause it right now, read the question, or rather read the paragraph rather, and then we will move to the question. Okay, so I hope you would have done this particular task. For example, there is a theory which is mentioned in this particular question. Then if you see in the next particular passage, what is the importance of organizational culture, that is also mentioned, and how organizational culture impacts your workplace, that is also mentioned. So a beautiful passage related to organizational culture was given to you, and by no means I am saying that this is an easy question. By no means I am saying that this is an easy question. Okay, right now it can become easy for you, but think about those students who were sitting in the examination hall. If such question comes in FM also, then definitely the scoring rate in FM will fall. Now let's try to solve the question, and there was one more paragraph which was added. So if you see, a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 questions are there. Sorry, 5 paragraphs are there. 5 paragraphs to read will take definitely your time. Right, now let's try to answer all the questions. The passage mentions that they have expanded beyond the original development in Russia. The passage mentions theories that have expanded beyond their original development in Russia. Which theory they are referring to? Now, even if you read this particular paragraph, in this second paragraph itself, there is a mention of Vygotsky theory. Now, if you see, the answer of this particular question was Vygotsky only. So if you see, the questions are easy, they are RC based. RC we have done in your English component as well, but in the examination hall these questions will seem tough to you because you have multiple pressure on you. So it's better to stay calm and try to solve these questions. Okay, and see, no course can teach you how to answer these questions because these are common sense based questions. Okay, next, which factor does not significantly affect the organizational culture? Now again, you have to read the paragraphs which are given to you, and if you see, there are multiple paragraphs which are mentioned. However, certain factors are less flexible. For example, biological factors are largely inherent. They do not play a significant role in cultural setting. So here is your answer number 2. Here is your answer number 2. Now you just have to go and check over here which of the factor does not significantly affect the organizational culture. The answer over here will be biological factors. Yes, you might think that this is an easy question. Now why I am repeating this? Do not take this particular notion that this is an easy question. Right now it is looking easy, but in the examination it can become tough for you. Right now I am repeating this thing for the third time so that it can go in your brain. Next question. Okay, what tool does the company mention in the passage offer to the organization? Which particular tool has been mentioned? Now if you read the whole passage again, the company mentions about some survey tools, because I have read this particular passage and we have made this passage by talking to like 100 to 120 students who have appeared for phase 2. Okay, so we talked to the student, then verified from the other student, and it is not like exactly the same paragraph which has appeared in the exam, but it is based on the same theme. Now if you see, the answer of this particular question will be survey, because it is clearly mentioned one such company offers a survey tool designed for organizations seeking inputs into employees' alignment with the company values and satisfaction. So literally speaking, you can directly answer this particular question by reading the passage, but if you don't read the passage, then definitely it will be tough for you. So the answer over here will be option number B, which is your survey tool. So till now the questions which we have seen, they are directly traceable from the passage. Therefore you can term them easy, but again they are not easy once you are sitting in the examination hall. Right. According to the passage, organization focusing on the cultural assessment may observe improvement in what? If you observe the passage, you will come to know that if you apply the principle of organizational cultures, the passage mentions that there will be focusing on these factors, reports that communication across department and region improves. So your interdepartmental communication will surely improve if you follow the principles which are mentioned in the passage. So right now the answer over here will be interdepartmental communication. Okay, next thing, let's move to the next one. So if you see this particular passage, which have 5 individual paragraphs, I have given you 4 questions, and these are 2 markers. So 4 into 2 is 8. So if you remain calm in your exam, if you know that this passage is nothing, this is just an RC based question, you could have got 8 marks. But again, whatever students have done, whatever the toppers of this year are, a commendable job to all of you, because even if as such question comes in your exam, it takes a kind of a, I would say a call that whether you have to attempt or not attempt. Right. So now let's move to the next set of questions. So we have done 4 questions till now. Right. Now let's come to the next question. Read the below passage and answer the following questions. Now over here the passage is small. Over here the passage is small, like you can see only 3 paragraphs are given to you, but this particular passage is based on current affairs, which we generally say finance current affairs, which is taken by Kritika ma'am in your course or also on the YouTube as well, right? So the passage mentions about some initiative which was taken by SEBI so that investors can apply in securities market. Now, what is the maximum subscription amount under which the investors are required to be designated under the fund blocking method? So if you know that SEBI has released a circular related to, I would say, what, public issue of debt securities. So if you want to subscribe to any debt security, I hope you know what is debt security. Any security which offers you the benefits of a debt, which is borrowing. So under that, SEBI has mandated that you can block up to 5 lakh of rupees only. You can block only 5 lakhs of rupees. So over here definitely the answer will be option number E. Now according to me, this is a current affairs based question. If you have covered the current affairs, then this is a moderate question for you. If not, then definitely it will become tough for you. Okay, so this question was covered in our course and it was covered in current affairs current tab from 1st to 30th of September. Now this is not that old. Your exam took place in the month of, I would say, post September if I'm not wrong, and this question is of September only. So if you cover the current affairs of 5 to 6 months for phase 2, you are on the good track. Next, which method must be used to block funds for certain debt securities subscription? We all know that SEBI, RBI and they all are promoting UPI, Unified Payment Interface. So the correct answer over here was option number D. Now there are, if I'm not wrong, 4 to 5 questions which are based on the single, I would say, notification which was released by SEBI. So notifications which are released by SEBI or by RBI are definitely important, but you don't have to do all the notifications which are released by SEBI. Focus on only those notifications which are directly relatable to your syllabus. For example, UPI. UPI can directly be traced to chapter of digital payment system. Right, it can also be in the role of IT. Right, UPI also plays a role in financial inclusion. So UPI is like evergreen topic which RBI can ask you, like PSL. PSL is also an evergreen topic. Right, moving forward. So the answer over here was UPI, which is option number D. Next question related to, again, these are the same SEBI guidelines which were beautifully covered in our course. Which organization has introduced these updated guidelines for debt securities? We all know the answer will be SEBI. Okay, it will not be RBI, rather the answer was SEBI. SEBI is a primary regulator, or is the front, I would say, is the main regulator for your securities market. And in securities market, you have debt securities and equity securities. Okay, so make sure you understand what is the role of SEBI and what is the role of RBI too. And to understand the role of SEBI, we have a dedicated chapter in your course as well, which is financial institutions. In financial institutions, you understand the role of regulators also. Right. So I will not say that this question is out of the syllabus. It's very in the syllabus only. Okay. Moving forward to the next question, which is question number 8. Now, according to me, this question is tough because generally when we are reading the guidelines, we only see the main points and we skip certain dates. When will the newly implemented guideline for debt security subscription will take effect? The answer will be 1st November 2024. Now this is a factual question. There is nothing to explain over here. I am just telling you the question and the answer associated to it. Now if you just want to practice questions, you can go on EduTab website or you can take the course as well. For example, test series course which has multiple questions. Okay, moving forward. Now, this is where I would say your question number 8 gets completed. So if I am not wrong, there are 4 questions which are asked on the SEBI notification which was mandated for UPI for debt securities. Okay. Now, if you are good in current affairs, I think you would have solved 3 out of 4 questions bearing this one, which is the date one. Okay. Moving forward to the 9th one. Now again you have a certain, I would say, question which is talking about some kinds of banks. In 2014, Reserve Bank of India introduced new categories of bank. Now if you see in 2014, Nachiket More committee introduced the 2 type of banks, payment and your small finance banks. But over here, if you are confused between payment bank and small finance banks, you have to read further. These institutions were established to improve financial services in rural and semi-urban areas where the traditional banking infrastructure is limited. These banks provide credit. Now, once you see the credit, once you see the credit, definitely it will be small finance bank, because your payment banks cannot lend. They can only accept deposits up to what particular amount of money? 2 lakhs of rupees, right? But they cannot lend any amount of money. So definitely the answer will be savings, your small finance bank only. Okay, it won't be your payment banks. I hope समझ में आ रहा होगा, because if you know what is Nakichit More committee, then only you will be able to answer this question. Otherwise, it's a bouncer for you. Okay, now they play a vital role in connecting unreserved regions. Traditionally, these institutes emphasizes on building strong relationship with local communities as well. Okay, so now we know that the passage is talking regarding small finance banks, so we can answer all the questions which are related to it. Identify the type of a bank which is described. It cannot be regional rural bank, because regional rural bank act is of very old, if I'm not wrong 1976, but still I'm not that much sure, you can check it. But RRB cannot be introduced in 2014. Microfinance bank, microfinance institutions are there which act as an NBFC. We don't have any microfinance bank per se. Cooperative banks, again very old. When it comes to small finance bank and payment banks, yes, these can be the two probable answers, but the correct answer will be small finance bank, because they can lend, and it is clearly mentioned in the second passage. These banks provide credit. Credit means what? To provide loans. Okay, payment banks cannot provide you credit at this particular junction. They can only accept deposits up to 2 lakh of rupees, right? Moving forward to the next question, which was asked in this particular domain only, and yes, this question was also covered in our course. There is a chapter of FM static, which we call it as banking and financial system. It's a big chapter, and because we have to cover all the different types of financial institutions. Now, what is the primary aim of bank prescribed in the message? So in the passage only, if you see, this is an RC based question. So if you go and read the passage, specifically passage number 2 and passage number 3, you will come to know that the main goal of small finance bank is to provide credit, or is to provide services to small entrepreneurs and local income households, right? And even if you see, this question is based on RC. This question is based on RC. What is the primary aim of bank's message in the passage? It is just serving financial needs of undeserved population. So if you see question number 10 and 11, 10 and 11 can directly be traced to the passage which we have just now finished. So if you even if you just identify that this is a small finance bank and multiple functions of this bank is mentioned in this particular passage, इसी passage में answers छुपे हुए हैं. Okay, so this is the first learning which you should draw, that in 2024 the new type of question which we have seen is RC based questions, which are easy, but if you panic in your exam, it will become tough. Okay, so this is question number 11 we have also done, that is small entrepreneurs and local income households, right? Now moving ahead, in addition to providing financial services, these banks also contribute by doing what? So even again, you have to just go back to the passage and you will come to know that they promote financial literacy among undeserved community. It is clearly mentioned over here, like they promote, they talk to communities, and this model also support financial literacy among clients, right? So even if you just answer that this is a small finance bank, and rest all the topics or rest all the answers are related to the passage itself. So again, the passage tells you that what are the answers, so you just have to stay calm and you just have to answer the questions. Now make sure, my friend, this question was duly covered in EduTap course in the chapter of banking and financial system. Okay, moving forward to the next question, which is your world management survey. Now this question is again based on passage, right? This question is again based on passage. Over here, what we are seeing over here is again a different type of passage which is comparatively smaller than the organizational culture. Organizational culture has 5 paragraphs. Over here you have 4. So the World Management Survey developed research including Rafael Stardon focuses on analyzing and enhancing management practices across various industries. Management practice such as performance tracking, goal setting, employees incentivization are fundamental for organizational success. One of the survey's tools allows the organization to measure effectiveness of their management practices. Introducing these practices can be challenging, and if you practice this, then definitely you will foster a culture that supports sustainable growth and organizational success. So again, what I will do is I will request you to pause this particular video, read this particular passage and try to understand that what passage is saying, and then definitely we will try to answer the questions that follow. Okay, so pause this particular video, try to read the passage. I will zoom it a bit if you want, but try to read it by pausing the video. Now, let's start by solving question number 13. Based on the passage, which type of practices are practiced by the are integral to the organizational success? So, which type of practices are integral? Again, you have to see the passage only, then only you can answer. Right? There are multiple practices. There are goal setting, employee incentivization, fundamental for this. Study shows that well-managed companies experience greater productivity. One survey tool objectively offering comprehensive framework. This tool have specific indicators to evaluate like operational efficiency and resource. So you have to read it, and then only you will come to know that the answer will be management practices. It is clearly mentioned in the first paragraph itself. Management practices are very much core to the company's operation, right? It is written over here that it is management practices, and then they have given you some examples as well, right? So again, you have to use your logic. Logic basically is to read the RC and then answer. Why managers might resist in engaging in training programs? So if you see why managers resist in engaging in training programs, managers often hesitate to undertake extensive training due to concerns that new knowledge or process that may increase their workload or even diminish their roles through automative advancements. So if you see, the answer of this particular question will be option number B, concerns of increasing workload and responsibility. Now again, one disclaimer, I am not saying that these are the exact questions, but they are like memory based questions which you can see. Okay, as per the developed tool mentioned in the passage, how can companies measure effectiveness of the management practices? Now if you have to measure the effectiveness, again you have to read the passage over here, right? You can see that effective implementation is this, and now they are by regulatory evaluating these matrices. So you have to just read the passage and then you will be able to answer through framework of operational efficiency and innovation. Clearly, if you see passage number 3 and passage number 4 talks about it, right? You have to make improvements in the workplaces. Improvements in the workplaces is basically a component of innovation only, right? So basic fundamental. Even if you are not able to find the correct or the similar word, try to identify the most common theme then. Okay, contrary to the common assumptions about management practices, the passage suggests that the effective implementation is what? Effective implementation is definitely complicated, but it requires efforts also. Passage number 4 talks about it. So therefore your answer of question number 16 will be option number C, more complicated than anticipated but manageable with right approach. This is what paragraph number 4 is talking to you. Okay, so overall if you see the passage of organizational culture and this particular passage of management practices is totally a new type of question which RBI is introducing in the FM paper. Now it can continue for 2025 as well or 26 as well, but we have added a separate courses or a separate quiz in your course which will allow you to practice such type of questions. Okay, moving forward to the next question, and this question according to me is the toughest question, but it is still doable. Like I mean, some questions are doable, not all. So this question talks you regarding the planetary boundaries. Now yes, planetary boundaries and your environmental stuff you read in ESI, but they are asking you a question over here, so you cannot say no to them, you have to answer it, right? So Earth natural system have shown the sign of distress with studies on planetary boundaries, underscoring how human activities impact ecological limits. Likewise, they have added one paragraph, second paragraph, and the 3 and the 4th paragraph as well. So there are total of 4 paragraphs which they have added in the passage of planetary boundaries. Now definitely this question looks tough to me because first of all I am not able to see any chapter of FM related to planetary boundaries. Okay, chapters of ESI are surely related over here, but still you have to answer it. But to answer such questions you have to understand first of all the passage and then only move ahead. So this year the paper was lengthy also because we have seen multiple, I would say what, paragraph based questions, right? We have seen till what, like this is the 5th paragraph based question which we are solving, right? Moreover, paragraphs are lengthy, moreover paragraphs are kind of boring to read as well. Okay, because management is boring, we all accept it. Okay, but for me it is interesting, but for students generally say that it's boring. Now, as per the cited report on planetary boundaries, humans have caused the boundaries in which particular sector? In freshwater and environmental pollutants. Now, this answer you cannot directly relate to the passage. You cannot directly relate to the passage. You will have to read the report which was of planetary boundaries. You have to read this particular report, then only you can mention it. Then only you can, answer it. But even if you read the passage, you can get a slightest idea that what the question is speaking. But you don't have this much of time in the exam because you just have 30 minutes to answer 20 objective questions, right? 22 marker questions, and then you have 10 marker, then you have 1 markers also. I hope you know that you have 30 minutes to solve, I would say, 30 objective questions, and in this 20 are 2 markers and 10 questions are 1 markers. Therefore the total objective of objective is 50, right? I hope you are able to understand what I'm saying. So you don't have this much of time to understand what the passage is saying, and then you have to draw out its implication also. Consequently, to tackle environmental boundaries breaches, what initiative has been taken? Circular economy was the correct answer. Again, you can read from the passage. If you are able to deduce your answer from the passage, it's good. Otherwise, you have to read this particular report and then only answer this particular question. But again, my friends, the topper of any exams do not solve all the questions, right? Topper solves majority of the questions with full accuracy, or with 90 to 95% of accuracy. So make sure that you do not have this any kind of tension in you that how will I read such reports. You are bound to leave certain questions in the exam. 2-3 क्वेश्चन तो छोड़ने ही पड़ेंगे because paper setter is testing your, I would say, what, presence of mind also, right? So make sure that you go in the exam to solve majority of the questions with full accuracy or 90% of accuracy, right? So if I was on your place, I would have surely left question 17 and 18, because even if you read the passage, you are not able to understand what the passage is first of all saying, because this is a kind of a 5th passage which we are seeing. Moreover, it's a kind of a complicated passage. Moreover, directly traceable answers are not here, right? But the next question, what preceded sustainable development goals? Now this knowledge is based on your static knowledge. Even if you know Millennium Development Goals were there and then came your SDGs, right? SDGs came from the year 2015 onwards, right? Before that MDGs were there. So I would have done this question, because even if I don't know the paragraph, what paragraph is saying, I could have answered this. That is Millennium Development Goals, right? So according to me, this question was doable. Rest you could skip in this particular set. Next question from this particular set, which is the last one. The goal of Millennium Development Goals range from what? The goals of Millennium Development Goals. Now, frankly speaking, I know that SDGs, because SDGs we have covered in ESI, but we have not covered MDGs. We just know that MDGs were there and then your SDGs came. But what was MDGs and how many targets and how many indicators they have, that I think we all don't remember right now. So I would have skipped this particular question too, but if you want to attempt, you can attempt. The correct answer will be halving the global poverty to tackle HIV related targets. Now for SDGs, we all know, right? There are 17 SDGs. They have some 231 indicators if I'm not wrong. They have 169 goals if I'm not wrong. You can check this particular knowledge on Google as well. But at the end of the day, this is what the best of my knowledge is speaking. I can be incorrect also. But at the end of the day, I don't have any specific relation or specific knowledge to MDGs. Therefore, I will skip this particular question. Rest questions are doable. Right? So this is where our 20 questions of 2 markers are completed. We have completed 20 questions of 2 marker. Now let's come to the 1 marker questions. Now the first question in 1 marker is related to motivational theories. By how much person values the outcome? We all know that you have Victor Vroom, expectancy theory, instrumentality, expectancy and valency, right? Multiply them, you will get your motivational force. So answer over here will be your expectancy theory, because the question is asking you regarding the valency. How much you value your rewards. Answer me in the comment section that what are different probable values of valency. Can valency be 0.2 or it can be, what is the range? You just have to let me know in the comment box. Okay, so this question I am writing at easy. You should not skip these questions. Next question, yes, this was covered in our course as well. Next, what is the regulatory limit for investment in small and medium real estate investment trust? Factual question based on current affairs. The correct answer will be 50 crores. Okay, and this was covered by Kritika ma'am in the current affairs as well, that what is medium real estate investment trust, SM REIT. Okay, so you have 50 crores as the minimum, and maximum over here it is 500 crores. Cool. Next, what are the means and ways and mean advances limit for the second half of fiscal 25? Again, based on current affairs, even if you read budgets, even if you read budget related news, fiscal policy related news, you could have answered this question. Again, based on current affairs. So answer over here will be option number D, which is 50,000 crore. Now all these current affairs falls in the ambit of 6 months only. Even if you see this question, okay, current affairs of August 2024, current affairs of August 2024, then you have September 2024, right? You have current affair covered in September. So these are not old. If I was on your place, I would have covered at least 6 months of current affairs, and if you do it, definitely these questions are easy for me. Next question. In Johari windows, we all know Johari windows has 4 quadrant. Which quadrant represents the part which is known to individuals? I know it, but I am hiding from others. So that is basically known as your hidden quadrant. You have open facade, right? Then you have hidden, then you have unknown, and like that you have multiple quadrants. A total are 4 over here, right? So definitely the answer will be hidden quadrant, and it was given by Joseph Luft and Harry Ingham. Very popular names when it comes to management. Cool. So this is where the answer of option number question 24 is C. According to me, this is again easy for me, right? Coming to the next question. Who developed managerial grit, a framework for analyzing leadership styles? This is the most halwa question according to me. Okay, Blake and Mountain managerial grid. We all know they have given you 5 types of leadership. You have your evade and elude, task management, middle in the road, team manager, and task, and your people oriented, which is your kind of country club manager, right? So Blake and Mountain has given you leadership grid as well. They have also, like, many people have contributed to the extended managerial grid also. Can you let me know in extended managerial grid how many leadership styles were introduced? Okay, question number 25 B, correct answer, very easy. Moving forward to question number 26. In which communication structure does the person communicate with one on the either side but not with anyone else? So you communicate either to your left, either to your right. One on the either side मतलब क्या हुआ? One on the either side basically means either I am communicating to my right or to my left. So that happens in your circle only. It is like adjoining. It is like adjoining. Cool. So according to me, this is also an easy question. You should have done it in your exams as well. Moving forward, and all such questions are covered in our course as well. You can see the snippets just for a proof purpose. Which management approach emphasizes managing transitions and guiding organization through change? Organizational change, very beautiful chapter in which Kurt Lewin has contributed one particular theory of change. We all know it, right? But over here they are asking you different transformational management, transitional, situational, adaptive, or contingency management. You are focusing on transition and guiding through the change. So the correct answer will be transitional management. Transitional management means that we are adapting the change so that there can be smooth implementation. It can be a moderate question because it's not a typical theory which we teach, but still if you apply your common sense, you could have done it. Right. Moving forward to question number 28. UPI circle was very much in news, right? It is based on your current affairs of, I would say, August month only. So it's an easy question. There are 5 secondary users, we all know, right? Secondary users in UPI circle is 5 only. So the answer of this particular question is option number D. I would term this as easy, not even as moderate, because this is very easy question to do. Question number 29. In the settlement timeline of debt securities and non-convertible bonds were reduced from T+6 to which of the following? Now this question has been taken from your RBI annual report of 2023-24. Now I will write it as moderate, or in actual, if I was on your place, I would have not identified the answer for this. But if you know the answer, it's moderate. If you don't know, which I also don't know, so I will write my answer as tough. Okay, I would have rather skipped this particular question because RBI annual report we generally read for, I would say, interview purpose. We don't we expect some questions, but to read all these details from RBI annual reports will take a lot of time. Okay, so generally, yes, you should read RBI annual report. It is mentioned in your syllabus as well, but do read it only if you have good number of days with you. Otherwise, if you go in it, you will just get ample of data which can confuse you. Right. So the answer of this particular question is T+3. It was reduced from T+6 to T+3. Okay. And if possible, read the summary which is provided to you by EduTap or by any other coaching institute if you don't have time to read the full report. Okay, so this question was also covered in the summary which we have provided. T plus 6a, it has been reduced to T plus 3. Non-banking financial companies, which risk are considered in capital to risk? This is your capital adequacy ratio or CRAR ratio. So for NBFC, which type of risk is considered? C, Basel 1, Basel 2 and Basel 3, or Basel 1, Basel 2 and Basel 3, whatever you want to call it as. All the three type of risk, credit, market and operational risk, are considered. Okay, in Basel 1 you can say that yes, only your market risk, which is your price risk, and your credit risk was considered. But in Basel 2 they have added your operational risk as well. But the question is asking you from the present perspective, and from present perspective all the three type of risk are considered, because in Basel 3 or in Basel 3, whatever you want to call it again, all the three types of risk are covered. In Basel 1 only 2, in Basel 2 and 3 all the three type of risk are covered, right? So the correct answer will be all the three type of risk. Again, this question is again easy for me, I would have done it, right? So this completes all our 30 questions of objective which you have to do in 30 minutes. Now according to me the paper was tough, there is no second doubt about it. We were not expecting big paragraph based questions in FM at least. Now let's move to the descriptive questions, because descriptive is the game changer, and yes, this type of question was also covered in our course. Coming forward to 15 markers. What are derivatives? Discuss different types of derivatives, key market paraments, significance, financial markets, and the risk associated. Now this is a 15 marker question, word limit is 600. Now if I was on your place, this question was on my target list. Why? Because I know what is derivative. We have understood what is future, forward, swaps and options. Key market participants are your hedgers, speculators and arbitrators. Significance, they provide liquidity, risk associated, default risk, liquidity risk and whatnot. So if this question comes in front of me, I would have definitely done it. And this is the probable answer. First, you definitely try to give the definition of derivative. You try to explain what is an underlying asset, what are different categories of underlying asset, and likewise. Then you explain what are different types of derivatives. See, if you are falling short on words in such questions, then it's your mistake. Such questions are very like you can write x to y, x to z also in certain questions, because the questions are very open ended, right? Different types of derivatives, then you have key market participants. Okay, then you have significance also. Significance is the important part, and then the risk associated. So if you see this question was on my target list, I would have tried to got 12 plus in such questions, because I know that these questions which I can do, right? So first identify the questions which are on your target list. Yes, I will do good in such questions. Okay, next in the 15 marker is what? Next in the 50, and then yes, we have covered derivatives beautifully in our course as well, because I have taught to you derivatives, one of my favorite chapters. Question number 2 in 15 markers. What is the channel of communication? Briefly explain the different types of communication channels and their importance. Now channels pe we have done endless of discussion, formal, informal, grapevine and whatnot. I hope you know that informal is informal is a superset, grapevine is a part of it, but still there is a difference between these two. Okay, if you know them, then please write your answers in the comment box. I will be very much happy to see. Now what is a channel of communication? You just need to define first communication and then what is channel of communication. All types of communication, formal and informal, we know. Grapevine you can also use, and if you are writing in grapevine, you can also write different ways via which grapevine spreads in your company. So again, this was the question which I was targeting, and I could have done in your exam as well, because such questions are open-ended. You can write multiple things over here. Okay, types of formal, types of informal, use cases of formal, use cases of informal, advantages and disadvantages also, but they are not asking you too much on the advantages and disadvantages, rather their focus is on importance. So I could have given the importance specifically for the informal as well, like informal helps you in social interaction. Likewise, this question should be done by you in the exam as well. Okay, moving forward to the next one. Next question in the, I would say in the list of 15 marker is related to trait theories of behavior and theories of leadership. Now, first of all, yes, channels of communication was also covered in our course. What is the difference between trait and behavioral theories of leadership? Now, if you are writing an answer on this, you could have done, like in trait theory, you could have mentioned about Gordon-Allport trait theory. Gordon-Allport trait theory is a very famous trait theories. Behavior again you could have mentioned, but there is not, like you could have mentioned multiple things about behavior as well, but how will you get the words for behavior? That is what makes the concern for me. So what I would have done is, if definitely if the first two questions are in my target list, I will do it. But if you want to attempt this particular question, trait and behavioral, then you will have to do mind mapping first. You have to write that what points you will write first, right? And then you have to start typing the answers. Okay, but still, according to me, this is a moderate question. The first two questions which we have seen, the channel one and the derivative ones, they are comparatively more easier, right? Derivatives and your, I would say, this question, communication, are more easier as compared to trait. Now in trait, yes, you can define about traits as well, different type of traits of leader. In behavior, you have multiple theories, right? You have multiple theories, so you can write about them as well. But how much to write, on which particular point you will write, that makes this particular question as moderate. Okay, but still, 15 markers, I don't think they have given a good pain to you. The real problem comes in 10 marker, and yes, this particular question is also covered in our course. Okay, behavioral theory, people oriented, task oriented. Now in behavior also you have multiple theory. Blake and Mountain is there. You also have your Tanman and Skimith. You also, no, Tanman and Skimith isn't different, I think, but still you have multiple theories in behavior, right? You have multiple theories. So आप कितना लिखोगे? So try to understand that first. Identify the questions which you are short. Which you are short. Yes, I will do them, and then only do these questions. Okay. Then we have your 10 markers. What are the key factors that influences ethics in business? Right. Now this question looks doable, because ethics, we always say that ethics is a descriptive kind of chapter, so you should practice multiple questions on descriptive as well. So what are different factors that influences ethics? You have your, I would say, culture of the organization, you have personal morals, you have values also, you have legal and regulatory framework, you have social push as well. So there are multiple factors to it, but still I think this question is doable, but I will rate this particular question as moderate. Why moderate? Because you need to think and then you need to write, right? But still this question is good to do, good to go, because you have multiple points over here. There should be no dearth of word limit over here, right? Then you have societal expectations, economic factors, and multiple things, right? Next questions, yes, this was also covered in our course as well, like why ethics is an important chapter. We have covered beautifully in our course. Next question, which I think is tough, according to me, you have 81 bonds. Discuss their unique features and explain how they differ from other type of bonds. Now, 81 bonds, we all know this comes from your Basel norms only. In your Basel norms, you have tier 1 and tier 2 capital. Now, if you go in tier 1, you have your common equity tier 1 and additional tier 1. So, if any company has to raise 81 capital, they will have to run 81, they will have to issue 81 bonds. So if you know all this stuff, then only you can answer this question of 81 bonds. Otherwise this is a totally googly for you, or this is a totally, I would say, bouncer for you. Okay, now 81 bonds were in news because SBI has issued 81 bonds. Yes Bank has write off. Yes Bank has totally written off 81 bonds because of their collapse. So 81 bonds was in news that time as well. Okay, 81 bonds, also known as contingency convertible bonds, are definitely a long-term debt instruments wherein you raise money. These are the different features of your 81 bonds. If you know, then only write. Otherwise, I would have skipped this particular question and I would have done the third one. Third one in this particular case is what is difference between value investing and growth investing. Now this was the editorial which was covered in Economic Times, but still if you know the basics of investing, you could have done it. See, if you are going in finance paper, investing basics is very a much anticipated topic. For example, mutual fund industry these days. What is value investing? Value investing is like you pick a company which is very undervalued right now. For example, XYZ company whose share price is just rupees 10. You just pick this particular company and you hold it for long term. You hold it for long term, right? And in long term, definitely the price of the share of the XYZ company will rise to 100 or it will rise to 120. So this will give you capital appreciation. This will also help you to increase your capital in the long time. Okay, and many people do it. Like if you see the market these days, it is falling. Okay, Reliance is available at 52 weeks low. Indian Oil Corporation is available at 52 weeks low. These are like big companies which are available at small price. So you invest in these companies right now and you take out your money later at the stage, right? And then what is growth investing? Growth investing is like bullish. Like for example, if market is rising, I will invest my money into some company so that my money can also rise. But then what's the difference between value and growth? In value, you pick certain companies which are undervalued and you hold them for longer period of time. But in growth investing, you try to grow your money. It can be short term as well and it can be long term as well. Right? So if you know the difference between value and growth, then only you could write your answers. But having said this, my friend, if your knowledge about Basel is good, then 81 bonds could have done your job. Otherwise, this particular question would have done your job, which is based on value and growth investing. Okay, 81 we have covered in our course as well, but we do admit we could have covered more when it comes to 81 bonds, and surely it's a learning for all of us as well. But seeing that 10 marker questions, ethics one was doable, and you could have chosen any one between your between your investing and the 81 bonds. So I would say 10 markers comparatively look more tough as compared to a 15 marker question. Okay, so that, my friends, complete our discussion regarding all the different type of questions which was asked in RBI Grade B 2024 FM paper, objective and descriptive. Yes, I know the paper was lengthy, paper was bit confusing as well. Okay, now my friends, if you are looking to buy EduTap course, then definitely you can go on our website. You just have to write edutap.co.in. Just give me a minute, I will open a different browser. Yes, you just have to write edutap.co.in, or you just write edutap.in, or just write edutap on Google. You will find our website. On courses, you can go on our RBI Grade B courses. Once you click on RBI Grade B, currently we are telling you that yes, grade A can also come, but you please prepare for grade B, because if you prepare for grade B, then definitely simultaneously your grade A preparation will also be done. So currently we are offering 71% off. The code is EduTap on all our courses, test series, silver and gold course. Test series only includes your MCQs. Silver course and gold course are the foundational course. In gold you will get everything. In silver you will only get phase 2 and interview, but in gold you will get phase 1, phase 2 plus interview. So the only difference between gold and silver is what? Phase 1. Okay, and yes, you can miss phase 1 live classes and your full length mocks for phase 1, because that we only provide in gold, and currently we are running 71% off. The code is EduTap. So I hope you find this particular video interesting, and do let me know if you need any other video in this particular context. So that's the end from my end. Have a good day ahead, and I wish you tell us that what you need in future. Bye bye and have a good day ahead.